Hey, how's it going, everybody? Glad you guys are here, and welcome to episode 36. It'll be a year next week. Dang, crazy. A year. The 23rd, I think, was my first episode that I got on here, and I did it 23rd of last year. Um, well, I'm glad you guys are here. Thank you guys for coming to episode 36 of Secretly Unknown. All right, my name is Raul, and if you guys haven't been here, welcome. I am so glad that you guys are here and you guys have decided to come along and join me in this journey tonight. As I said, been on this journey for about a year now. It started off with a lot of things growing up as a kid, through my life, just growing up and realizing, I've always had this feeling something's going on, something's different. This is not what I feel is right, or something is just off. And I've been interested in a lot of things: occult, demonology. Growing up in a Christian home, being baptized Catholic, I was always around religion, and I just always thought, man, there's got to be something more than this. This just, it just seems off. And looking around the world as I was in the military, and while I was in Asia and in Korea, talking to Buddhist monks when I would go see in the temples that they had, and talking to them and discussing a lot of stuff about their aspect on life and the afterlife and what they believe. And being in the Middle East on my tour, being over there and talking to a lot of Muslims that I have a really good friend now, and we still talk about a lot of things. And just saying, man, something just feels different, man. It just feels off. Like, this just doesn't feel right. And he's like, where there's a lot of things that are, outside the aspect or the realm of what we understand. But being that we've always been taught this subject matter in a way where it is dumbed down, it seems like it's hiding something that is way bigger than the scope of what we know of. And this is for everything, our history, religion, culture, who we are, why we are the way that we are, why we're made the way we are, and where we come from. I mean, I had said in the description of this video when I posted it that people see scientists are always trying to sit here. Darwin's coming up with this theory of evolution that we just crawled out of the water as fish and yada yada yada. Well, if that's the fucking case, then why aren't other fish coming out of the fucking water and evolving? Why haven't there been in any evolving cases of animals, starting to show that they were showing interest on walking on two fucking legs? It doesn't make sense to me. And it's like, people are trying to make this big aspect of it, and it's like, that's just me. If that's what you want to believe, fine to me. And that's just personally. I'm not going to knock anybody for believing what they believe, but it just, you got to like try and prove it to me. Like, these fish fucking actually got out of the water and started turning into people or lizards or whatever. And it made me start thinking, well, what's the deal with the lizards? Like, what's the deal with, this whole thing of these reptilians? And I started looking into that stuff, and it started leading into what we are talking to today. Along with it is the Anunnaki and the sky gods that the ancient Sumerians were discussing with on these tablets that they found, these cuneiform tablets, and they were discussing this whole analogy of who they are, where they came from, why they were here, why they created human beings, and why we were left alone to flourish in this so-called barren, rich land that they came here for, resources that they needed for their home planet. Now, saying all of this, it sounds far-fetched, and I get it. I understand. But like anything, when you start looking into this stuff of this ancient Sumerian culture and these tablets in Persia in the Middle East, the cradle of civilization, where humanity and culture and knowledge started to begin and flourish in Mesopotamia. You've got these mega structures, these monoliths, these pyramid type structures. I love you, babe. And you're seeing this culture and this flourishment of life coming from this cradle of civilization. And in this, you have, like I said, this story of these sky gods who came down from their planet that was being destroyed. Their atmosphere was being depleted because they had recklessly tore it apart. The Earth, their planet, was evolving. It was about, it was just the air, the atmosphere. They couldn't breathe it. It was starting to get really hot. They couldn't endure it. So they started going underground. They were living inside of the Earth, or the planet that they were living in. But they were in control of what they call the Ajiji. And one way that I learned how to analyze this is by the person who deciphered the cuneiform tablets of the ancient Sumerians, and the whole story, and the king's list, and who they are, the creation story of humankind. And he said, Anton, let me see what his name is. Who come on, man, what is his name? Anton Parks. That's his name. He is the official Sumerian tablet expert in the world. He cracked this code. He actually deciphered it and found that when they were deciphering the original tablets, if you've never seen these cuneiform texts, they're on these clay tablets that are like this big and about that big. Okay. And they have this sign, symbology writing of how they are telling the story in their language. And the story that they tell of these beings came down here with these Ajiji and started wanting to mine gold and minerals that they needed for their atmosphere in order to stabilize their atmosphere. And they brought these Ajiji that are lizard people. This is the story. This is not me talking. This is what they wrote down. Okay, and as I said when I started this video, my ideas of things have evolved, and me getting really into and digging into the broader aspect of everything that we have been told as human beings, and just my mind has just been going and going and going and going, and wanting to learn and read books, on different types of cultures and what they believe. I mean, look I got my whole library is like, just books on, cultures and civilization and ancient texts and tablets. And, I've got the Emerald Tablets of Thoth by Billy Carson. I've got Unearthing the Cloudy, the God Code. They Came Before Columbus. That's another one I started talking about, and I don't think anybody was like, whatever, man. You're just, going off of some theory, just like, these people that talk about flat earthing and whatever. And it's like, look, people have their ideas about anything, whatever they're going to talk about. It's just looking outside of the spectrum of it and saying, okay, well, this could be possible, this can't, or, explain this to me and try and prove this. But it's about what you believe. I'm not here to tell anybody this is right. I'm giving you the information. Check it out for yourselves. Check it out for yourselves. That's all I can say is do your own research, do your own diligence, look into these topics, look into this subject matter, and find that what we have been told all of our lives, this is just me speaking for me, has all been bullshit. Literally. It has been nonsense. And I think, okay, I've been thinking this way or been taught this way, and it's been indoctrinated to me this way for my whole life. And the possibility that this is something that has been doctored in order to fit a narrative of making slaves to a system that has been working since the beginning of time. And I'll get to that. I'll explain that a little bit later. Because you're probably thinking, what the hell is he talking about? Something that's been set up since the beginning of time. This has all been planned out. This has all been a program. This has all been plotted out. And it makes perfectly good sense to me now. Now, as I was saying, going back to me saying that what I say on this show is me giving a theory about a subject matter of what I've seen, read, looked into, and what it fits into the narrative of how and why we are here and how this all happened, why it happened. Now, getting back to it, the Anunnaki, the sky gods, the ancient Sumerian tablets talk of these sky gods who came down because their planet was being destroyed because of the atmosphere. They found this planet that was living with life, that had life, that was flourishing. They knew that it had minerals that could help their atmosphere. They took these Ajiji, who are these reptilian workers that were living on the planet of Nibiru. They were kind of like us, slaves to the system. We were working. Oh, this stupid thing. They were working for the system. I don't know. This thing's, I gotta have to edit it. It's all right. All right, there it goes. They were working for these Anunnakis on this planet who were like their superiors, kind of like we are in a system where we have governors and we have senators, congressmen, we have a judiciary system. This whole thing was pretty much the same way they had it set up in their world with these Ajiji, these reptilian people. So they told them, hey, we're going to take a bunch of you, we're going to go jam to this planet, we see it could save us, and if we make it and we thrive there and we get lucky and we find all this stuff, we could save our planet. So that's what they do. They get on a ship, they take off through space, they start coming to Earth. You know, their father Anu, Enki was the one who was like, let's do this, we got to do it. I'm probably throwing some names out there and you're probably like, who the hell is this, a cookie? You know, sounds like a cookie mix. Enki and Enlil were two brothers. Enki was for humanity, as you will find out later in the story. Enlil was not. He didn't care about anything. He just wanted to go there. He was headstrong. He was just by the book. Do it this way. We got to dominate this place. Let's hurry up and get our crap. Let's get out. I don't want to play games. Let's just do this and go. And Lil was like, man, I got to explore this place. This could be something life-changing here. We just stumbled on a gold mine. So anyway, as they're there and they come to Earth, they're like, man, this is great. This is what we were wanting. This is what we were hoping for. Gigi, let's go, man. We need you guys to get out there, start digging up all this ore, digging up all these minerals and bringing it in so we can start taking it and shipping it back to the planet once we're done. The Gigi are working. Now, this is going on for a long time. A lot of people who look into this subject matter, discussed about this, say this. There are signs of these mining dredges, these washaways from these mining sites all around the world. And they're saying that the Grand Canyon could possibly have been one of those sites as a runoff. If you've ever seen something like where they're putting it in the basket and they're shaking it through, and it's a shaker, and it pretty much separates the good stuff from the bad crap, and it just washes it all downstream. Now that's what they're saying that the Grand Canyon could have been, or that the Grand Canyon was a part of what happened later on in this great flood, and the waters just washed out, went into the ocean. Now we have the Grand Canyons. That it didn't take as long as they say it is. It's been around. That it's only been not too distant in time lengthwise that this Grand Canyon was formed. Jumping back into the Anunnaki story, like I said. Sorry, because I'm going off all over the place, because it just leads to a lot of different things. You have these Anunnaki who are telling them, okay, let's go, guys, come on. We need you guys to hurry up. Let's get to it. We got to save our planet. And they were like, all right, we're going to do this. Time goes by. Years, months. These Igigi are sitting back going, man, this is bull crap. We're doing all this work. We're breaking our backs for these bastards. And they're sitting here just telling us what to do while they're chilling. The hell with this. We're going to rebel against them. And we're going to take over because they need us. We don't need them. We got a whole planet here we could thrive on. Let's just take it over and be free. So they start this big old war, this battle between these Anunnaki sky gods and their people that came along with them to pretty much, look over them like a prison while they were mining all this stuff. Inky and Lil are going out like, what the hell is going on? Like, the Gigi are saying that they're fed up with all this harsh stuff that's going on. They're pissed off that we're making them do all this work. Maybe you're pushing them too hard, and Lil. And then Lil's looking at Inky like, you are weak. This is the problem that's going on. You are too much. You're too soft into this thing. You don't have the guts to do what it needs to be done. We need to punish these people. Inky's telling them, no, there's got to be a different solution. After all this has been happening, we've lost too much men. We've lost too much resources. We need to come together on some kind of a solution. So they end up fighting Inky and Enlil over this idea of what they were going to do, because they're going to be stuck there. Their planet's going to die if they don't end up the planet with these minerals they have. So now you've got them fighting. You've got the Igigi fighting them. So the two brothers, Inky and Enlil, say, okay, look. Inky tells Enlil, why don't we just make something with these keys? Like, I've seen these creatures that are walking around. They look promising. I haven't really gotten to get one yet. And the brother's like, what are you talking about? You're talking about defiling our DNA, our blood, with these animals. Why do you care? Like, let's just whip these Igigi's butts and make them do what we tell them. And he's like, no, we can't do that, because if we do, they're just going to leave. We're going to lose it all. So Enlil's looking at the brother, and he's like, well, what is your solution? He's like, let's get one of these beings. I've seen them. I've been studying them. They're here. We can do what we want with them. They're not that smart. They're strong. They have the ability to be better. And we can make them do what we want and give them things so that way they can still flourish without us being their captors, per se. So Enlil's like, okay, go ahead and do it, but whatever happens, you're responsible for it. This is your mess. Because they still have to report back to Nibiru, their planet home. Now, as the story goes, Inky grabs one of these beings that's on Earth. And as it says in the tablets, this is called the creation tablet, where we get Genesis from. Exactly, verbatim. Just different names, different wording, same story. All the way up into the flood of Noah and after. Now, I say this and I throw that in there because a lot of people are going to be like, what? Now he's getting crazy because now he's trying to sit here and say that the Bible is a lie. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that these texts that were from 5,000 years plus older of this creation story, from something that was talking about beings that came down from the sky and created man in their own image, because that's exactly what it says in the tablets. Inky told Enlil with their sister, let us take our DNA, our essence of who we are, and make this being in our image and teach him knowledge so he can thrive on this planet. We won't leave them just to fend for themselves. We're going to help them along in this journey process so that way we can make them how we want them to be. We can guide them. And that's exactly what they did. Took whatever being, this sapien, this, Homo sapiens sapien, this Neanderthal, this Cro-Magnon man, whatever it was that was here. Wasn't quite human, wasn't quite ape. Something in between. Walking up tall. And they took this being, spliced its DNA with their blood, and this being, pretty much like a infertilization plant, a cryodome, which they called the garden, because they were growing these people and making them. It was pretty much like a laboratory. They watched it grow. They seen that the capabilities of its intelligence, because the way they spliced the genes and the things that they gave from themselves to this person, this being, this first man, because in the tablets it calls him Adamu, 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 Adamu. The whole story of Genesis is based off of this text. I kid you not. As I said, this is what started making my brain go, what the hell? If you're telling me in one version of your story that this being that was making man in his image was God, the God there isn't all being, I believe that. But I think the story that we have been told and taught is something that has been switched, flipped for control, flipped for dominance, and you see it, you witness it. The evidence is what has happened throughout history, throughout the ages that we have seen. They bow to what the submission of dominance over a population of people. That's all I'm saying, because I'm throwing out the evidence there to you, and people don't want to see it. They want to see it as an attack on something, and that's not what I'm doing here. This evidence has been so strong for me than the stuff that I've been reading, it's hard to deny it. But I can understand how some people would be like, that's going way too far, because you've been programmed to think something for so long, it's hard to break you from it. But it was something that was nagging at me. This just did not feel right. So when I found out that Anton Parks had, I was watching this episode of Gaia, and the creation, or on one of their episodes on Gaia, where they talk about the beginning of time and creation and ancient civilizations, I think is what it's called. And it talks about this. Please watch it. I'll go on YouTube right now. I'll show you a clip and I'll post it inside of the comments. You guys can check it out. Matter of fact, I'm sorry, I haven't jumped on my comments. Somebody's probably streaming. So I'm going to get on Facebook first to do my comments. You guys can get on there too. What up? How's everybody doing? But as I said, this being read and being, you can see these, they have them. So reading this and the transcribing of it all the way to the time of Noah, the flood, and beyond, when this story, and it also gives a story detailed list of the king's list. It's a giant, like I think it's a triangle pillar. It's tall, And it talks about the kings, the 7 or 14 kings, 23 kings that lived here on earth, the time that they ruled, how long they ruled, 26, 75, 45, 85,000 years, 125. And it's like these kings that were ruling over us from that time they got here all the way through until the time of Noah, when they destroyed the creation, tried to, a majority of it, because we were getting too crazy. We started using weapons of war, and we started turning against them again. So, as I said, this story in the ancients talking about the Anunnaki, the gods, the sky gods, these beings who came down, created this man, Adamu, in his image by using their DNA, their essence, with this being, this Cro-Magnon sapien, this Neanderthal, splicing their DNA and putting it in with him and making it in fertilization. They took the egg from his sister and did a DNA swap, just like you would when, if somebody's trying to have a baby, you take one from the dad and you take something from the mom and you put it together and you incubate it, and hopefully you'll get something. So that's what they did. They started growing and making and splicing and working on something that was going to work for them. They finally got to us and said, damn, we did it. In the garden, they took man and were teaching him and told him, of everything that you can have, but do not eat of this tree. Do not, or you will surely die. It is the same thing. I shit you not. Look it up. As they're sitting here going through this, and it's the same story, but there's twists. Because the Satam, as he is called in the Sumerian tablets, is the first time that we ever hear anything that is close to the word Satan. And that is what they called their brother Enlil, Satam. Or Enki, I'm sorry, was Satam. Enlil was telling them, do not go to this tree and ask for it. And what they were saying as a representation of what it was, not a tree. It was something entirely different. It was an essence. Do not ask or seek this out. Now, as the story goes, Adam's wife, Adamu, she ends up being Lilith. They make him another wife. They end up getting another female that will work for him. She is a perfect match for his DNA to be able to procreate. Lilith was not. She was a hybrid of something. She would not submit to Adam. He did not want her. She left. She took off and said, I'm not going to do this. Her structure was just off. She was not submissive. We're equals here. If you ain't going to take it, then we're going to be gone. I can't do this. So now they make him another woman. This woman is submissive. They start procreating. They find out that they can work. They're good with each other. She goes and is seeking out this knowledge. Enki is telling her, look, everything that you guys have been doing, all this stuff that they're having you do, you are so much more than that. So he starts giving them tidbits of knowledge and information. And Lil is telling them, do not do this. Who told you this stuff? Who was showing you how to do this? That's what happened. Enki was trying to help creation by giving them the tidbits of knowledge and information to enhance them. And Lil was the God who was telling them, who told you how to do this? Who told you how to plant and build and do this stuff? I didn't show you this. She said, Adamu said, my wife told me that she heard it from him. So now you've got the two brothers who are factioning against each other because Enlil does not want to have anything to do with these humans. He just sees them as slaves. Inky wants to help them. He is their friend. He is coming and telling them, hey, I'm going to give you knowledge, show you how to be a spiritual being, how to be able to connect with the stars in the sky and give you this information and help you build, help you defend yourself if need be if it came to it. You could do this stuff, but you would do it only to hunt what you need to eat and take care of yourself against enemy threats of these, I mean, I'm pretty sure there were pretty big wild beasts back then. It wasn't like today. But somewhere along the lines, down the line, after all these years of mining and being slaves and subservients, they said enough was enough, and they were going to freaking turn against them. Now, if anybody has seen that scene out of Noah, where it talks about this, you had these human beings that were just building and making weapons, and they just were warring, and they were just destructive, and they were just wild, and they were just doing all kinds of crap that should not have been happening. Enki, Enlil, and Anu. Anu is their father. Sounds kind of familiar, right? Anubis. We get that name in Egyptians. Okay, and you hear it throughout other cultures. Now, Anu was the father, the head man, the leader of these two brothers, and I put that in the description of the episode. Was these are the original Trinity: Enki, Enlil, and Anu, the father and the two sons. Crazy, right? Crazy. Now, Enki is sitting there helping humanity. They start getting wild and crazy. They start abusing his stuff, and they start making and doing all kinds of wicked things throughout the earth. And Enki is like, we got to do something. The brothers, well, let's just destroy them. Let's just get rid of them. They've warned them, which is why you get parts of like Sodom and Gomorrah. You get the story of the city of Babylon. All this stuff that was happening afterwards, these little destructions. But at the time of the flood, Enki was trying to, Lil said, enough is enough. I'm going to wipe, we should have never did this. I should have never let you have this power. I should have never let you even experiment with these people. We're going to get rid of them. Save somebody that's going to be able to carry on, that is noble, that will be able to do something and be able and subservient to us, because he's grateful. He's happy that I helped him. We're friends, pretty much. But he knows that I am more powerful than him, which is why you get that God complex. Now he comes to him and he tells him Adamu, or he tells Unnapishtim, which is where we get the biblical Noah. Just names have changed. Like I said, this ancient Sumerian text is more than 5,000 years old. This is way before the Bible. This is where the Bible copied it from. Okay? These sky gods were at war. Enki and Enlil were pissed off at each other. Enki wanted to save humanity, and Enlil did not. He wanted to. Enki said, "Let me save a couple of them." So he goes down and he tells Unnapishtim, "Listen, there's going to be a flood. He's going to destroy everything because of everything that's going on. He does not want to have them around anymore. But I'm going to let you live, you and your family. I want you to build this ship. Gave him the dimensions of it. Told him to take the essence of all creation to ensure that it is survivable to start life again later on. Now, I don't believe that this man took every single animal into that ark. I believe that what he did was they gave him the technology to take the essence, the DNA, the life of these animals in order to keep it so they could repopulate the earth. Which is why you get that big shift of different animals, and then you come back and then there's animals that look like these animals, but they're not large, they're not big, They're not freaking flying dragons, flying lizards and serpents and all this other crap. They're died down and smaller, and now you have a different population. But you all of a sudden sometimes get these creature hybrid looking things that people see or show up in the jungles, or they get video of these flying things or whatever. That's what I believe. Because the shift in what happened after the flood and the DNA essence of these creatures was manipulated to make it die down to what we see today. Oh, well, these dinosaurs are just like giant chickens. What the fuck? It's just a giant, it's got the same structure. Now it's just little. Crazy, right? But you don't see this shift. A big jump of thousands of years of all these things just smaller, 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 smaller. It's just boom. All of a sudden you see these things that are different, that are like these other creatures around Earth billions of years ago. Long time ago. You've got scientists that are looking at this flood theory after, like I said, Inky and Lil. Let me get back to this because I'm jumping on. I'm telling you, man, this stuff gets deep. Inky and Lil filing, and Lil tells them, look, we're going to get this, we're going to flood it, and Lil's going to just, I'm going to wipe it all out. Inky tells Unapishnum, build this ship, get the essence of 2 of these creatures, put it on the ship, stay there. It is going to rain for 40 days, 7 days in the Sumerian tablets. It's 7 days. 7 days and 7 nights. So it's raining. Boom, everything all over the place. People are screaming. The creation's going, it's gone. But it says that not all of them died. Some of them survived and they went into the earth. Went into the earth and hid. These giants, these creatures, these people that they had built, that they had manufactured, that they were trying to destroy, went into hiding into the earth. Not all of them died. Oh, this stupid thing. I hope it changed. Because I had it written down as something else. Edit. 35. Okay, let me see, because I hate it when I do that because it has like different titles on the when you do it on the description, and okay, should be good now, I think, hopefully. Okay, yeah, that's good. So it starts flooding. Some of these creatures get out, these beings, they go into the earth. They are not all gone. And so, all right, cool. It starts flooding. Some of these creatures get out. Awesome. So what ends up happening is this. After it's done flooding, all right, and the waters are subsiding, Anu and the rest of the gods come down and are like, what's going on? Or they're communicating with Enlil and Iking, and they're asking them, what is happening? What is going on? Why is it taking so long? You guys are sitting here messing around with this stuff. We're waiting. This battle incurs. They start having to, and Lil's like, screw it. He just to just call it and destroy all this time and this hard work that they did to put into these creations. And he's like, what is happening? You guys are sitting here screwing around. You're screwing around. And I want to know what is going on. So now Enlil's got to explain himself to his father of why he destroyed this hard work and all this money that they spent on creating these beings. And now they've ended up becoming more knowledgeable than and more wiser because of the help that Inky did to give them freedom of not only their mind but spiritually, like the connection of who they are to the sky through their essence that they gave them. It's all making sense. Everything that I'm telling you, you can read it for yourself. Look it up in the ancient Sumerian and the story of the Anunnaki, the sky gods, the Sumerian tablets. All this stuff is exactly verbatim, just as Anton Parks said. Think of it as the Anunnaki being the apes and the human beings being the Ajiji. Just flip it. The Ajiji are the human beings and the Anunnaki are the apes. That's how it was. They were ruling over these reptilian beings here, and that's what was happening. Because that's what it says in the story. That's what was going on. So anyway, they end up wiping them out. They end up letting them go. They kill them all. Inky does. He's explaining to his father what happened, and he told him, who gave you this authority to do this? You did not bring this to the council. You did not go through me to get authority to do this. You need to make it right, or you are going to pay for this. So Inky himself, the destroyer of the creation, goes down and talks to Utnapishtim, tells him, listen, you are going to repopulate this earth. You are going to make it inhabitable. You are going to make it yours. You are going to pass down the wisdom and the knowledge that we give you to be subservient to us. Pray to us and we will answer you. We will help you. We will give you enough to do what you need to do. They also gave them extremely long life, which is now why you get Methuselah, who was the grandfather of Noah and the descendant of Adamu, which is us. Basically, this great shift is something that was explained thousands and thousands and thousands of years before the Bible. The exact same thing. So these Anunnaki who came from this planet of Nibiru that was being destroyed, throughout our history after the flood, they ended up staying here and watching over humanity, guiding them. Humanity, these hominids that were here, worship them as gods, which is why you see them throughout ancient cultures and civilizations as these giant beings. If you ever see the movie Gods of Egypt, that's exactly a perfect setup. They were giant beings who came down here that looked like us, probably a little different. But like I said, the essence of the Homo sapien, our DNA, was from them and whatever was here. A genetic altering. Now this is what is said. So throughout history, sorry, I'm tongue-tied right now. Just got done eating macaroni and cheese and some delicious sliders. But the Anunnaki have always been here guiding humanity in one form or another. Throughout civilization, they call them gods. They call them beings. serpents, whatever. These creators who have come down in some shape or form or essence and guided humanity in a direction of spiritual awakening knowledge that was abundant and just raw, pure energy and honing our skills to be able to connect with the energy fields that were around here on Earth. Because they knew that the Earth was abundant in all of this, and they used it, which is why you have these structures all over the world on these specific points on the Earth that are full of these wormhole energy portals that are able to harness, they could harness this energy and use it to help them with what they needed. And I say this because it goes back into ancient history. Everything that we think of as being mythology, cultural, religious aspects of these god figure beings, these knowledgeable gods who were from the sky, they were not gods. They were just extraterrestrials who came down here who were very smart, that had the know-how, that created us, that gave us a start to be able. They tweaked us down a little bit, said, we're not going to make them that smart. Let's just make them smart enough to get shit done. We won't make them so tall and they won't live as long. After the flood, people started dying. They were not living long. It stopped. They knew that if they kept that crap going, if they left that gene in people, we would be well overpopulated, die. So this is why they dumbed down our genes, our DNA, to where we could only live up to 125, 140 years. That was it. But I love reading books. The Epic of Humanity, I love it. In their bold interrogation of the world's most ancient text, Billy Carson and Matthew LaCroix have fearlessly peeled back the pages of time to bring us a deeper layer into information. Information which if we take it seriously, defies everything we thought we knew about the origins and potential of human beings. If you are ready to have your deepest assumptions challenged, this epic journey is one you won't want to miss. I love it. It's great. It dives deep into everything, and like I said, it's mind altering, because it goes into that aspect of what I've been saying. And this is a forward from Erich von Däniken. I just want to read this. Erich von Däniken is one of the leading men who headed up this sky gods theory. He's the researcher into the Anunnaki and the theory that we were created here by some form of being that came down and from another planet, because based on his research of the information that they have gathered from everything that they have researched, these ancient text scrolls, the pyramids themselves, the positioning, Chichen Itza, Teotihuacan, all these sites all over the world, China, Europe, Russia. Every epoch has its own spirit of time. This spirit is just the prevailing reason. The people who were ahead of their respective zeitgeists were mostly discriminated and despised. I remember Nicholas Copernicus, 1473 and 1543, who shattered the worldview of the time by proclaiming that the Earth revolves around the sun. Or Giordano Bruno, 1548 to 16, proved that there were other planetary systems within our universe. Not to forget Galileo Galilei, 1564 to 1642, who freed mankind from the conceit that the Earth is the center of the universe. Today, all reasonable astrophysicists still proclaim that there is life out there, but not alien civilization. But no alien civilization has ever visited the Earth. Billy Carson and Matthew LaCroix see it differently. They prove that the Earth is not a closed system. Contacts have very well taken place, and thus they contradict the straight prevailing spirit of the age. This needs courage, and I recommend the Epic of Humanity book as a groundbreaking look into the new reasoning and evidence. The old one has had its day. Eric von Däniken is arguably the most widely read and most copied nonfiction author in the world, and he published his first and best known book, Chariots of the Gods, in 1968. The worldwide bestseller was followed by 40 more books, including the recent bestsellers Twilight of the Gods, History is Wrong, Evidence of the Gods, Remnants of the Gods, and Odyssey of the Gods. His works have translated into 28 languages and sold more than 65 million copies. Several have also been made into films, and Eric von Däniken's ideas have been the inspiration for a wide range of television series, including the History Channel's hit Ancient Aliens. His research organization, the AASRA, LegendaryTimes.com, comprises laymen and academics from all walks of life. Internationally, there are about 10,000 members, and he lives in Switzerland but is an ever-present figure on the international lecture circuit, traveling more than 100,000 miles a year. I love it. It's great. They took and threw Adamu into the lowest part of the whole material realm. Due to intense jealousy by some of those creator gods, human beings were cast down to the lowest form of material realm, known as the third dimension. In fact, Yaldabaoth, one of the creator gods in the story, goes on to state, I am a jealous god, and there is no other god besides me. Sounds pretty familiar, doesn't it? But as Yaldabaoth really the one true God that created the universe, as we are told? As most can clearly see, Adapu and Adam are the same being, with slightly different names used. This is a common theme that can be seen with certain hero gods and individuals throughout history, such as Atrahasis and Noah. What the heck? Once one recognizes this pattern, they're able to connect the names used by different cultures to identify the original sources of those stories. That's why I hold cuneiform tablets to the highest degree possible, and consider them the closest thing we still have to understanding the truth of the past. As we go deeper into these texts, I will be including a god name tablet later in the chapter to aid in understanding the different names used by these deities or beings of antiquity. Breaking down the myth of Adapa further is beginning to state by stating that a supremely intelligent being known as Adapa is created by a god named Ea. This human being is designed in the image of an Anunnaki, but due to his intelligence and perfect nature, he has the potential to become even greater than his creators. Sounds very familiar, does it not? To the Sumerians, the term Annuna translates to mean those from heaven to earth came. Those who from heaven to earth came, or those who Anu sent to earth. While the term Anunnaki is technically Akkadian, it essentially means the same thing. Both terms point to the fact that these creator gods came here from somewhere else other than Earth. It doesn't state whether it was from another star system or simply higher dimensions. All we know is that it wasn't from our planet. So then, where did it come from? It goes into lost civilizations and the ancient timelines. You got to read it. You got to read it. It's good stuff. I mean, these things that are a lot older, and these structures and the stories that are on these structures or within these structures, or what was going on with these structures, this historical, even with Graham Hancock going around on his ancient civilizations, ancient history, or his show that's on Netflix. Let me see. Ancient Apocalypse. Sorry, Graham Hancock. I apologize. Ancient Apocalypse. Graham Hancock goes around the world and he studies these structures and he analyzes it from the aspect of the culture itself. What are they telling us? What are they saying that these structures were made from, or who made them? How were they made? How were they able to make these structures? And what was the purpose? Because the purpose of these structures is so key. Because every one of them that you see, it is a purpose. It has a mission and a purpose to serve those who came from the sky. It is a representation of some kind of a power source that was put here by these beings to be able to regenerate themselves, use it, and harness the earth's power from specific spots on the earth for whatever means. Was it powering some kind of a structure? Was it harnessing the energy to use it for their planet, for their ships? Were they using them as wormholes to travel in between our dimension and this world to their plane of existence, thousands of light years away? You see these wormholes and these ancient sites of these portals where these people talk about going into these wall mounts, these spots on this mountain down in Chile in South America, and there's a portal gate there. And it says that these beings came down and they were telling them that this place was sacred, that this was a spot that only chosen few were able to be able to get information and to get knowledge and to get ideas, that this is where they would come to, and that those that were specifically chosen would be able to leave and go with them. Where they went, they didn't know, because sometimes they wouldn't come back. But some of the people that the stories tell of them going into these portals and being in a different world and coming back through it. The explanation was not quite the same as I'm saying it, but the translation of it is that what they did is that they gave him a disc to put into this hole. The gate opened up, and they were able to leave and transport to wherever the hell it is they went. Some of them say that that was Mars. Could it have been on Mars? Which is the population, the civilization that was on Mars. But they say that there are signs of battle or some type of weaponization that probably destroyed that planet. These are theories. These are just things that people are discussing and saying that it's possible. Which is why we have this fascination with going back to Mars. Why not go somewhere else? And that's very interesting, because you see this big interest of us going to Mars when we know that there used to be life on Mars. And we know that these beings came from the sky, from somewhere far, and that they were harnessing this energy here on Earth and giving knowledge to people and allowing them to thrive with this knowledge and being able to flourish and be able to progress their knowledge-wise, because like it says in the book, they saw that this creature, this being, was more capable of being smarter and better than what they were. And they didn't want that. Once again, I just want to say thank you to everybody who's out there that's watching the show. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you guys for being here. If you guys want to chime in and you want to get in on it, let me know. I'll put a link up in the comment section, and you guys can jump in on this if you want. So, as I said, we have these Anunnaki beings who were here that were helping create and to progress humanity. And they were not able to interfere with us in a way that would allow us to become immortal portal or something drastic like that. They were not able to do that. They were able to guide us and show us and help us in ways that would progress our mind and our spirit in order to keep our connection to them and to what we were, was a part of this earth. So now you have this God complex connection of, let me pray to God, these gods to come down and help us, or this God to do this. Which is why I always felt like, man, this is crazy, because now I understand it, I get it. Something happened where these sky gods left. They took off. They told them, we will be back. We will not abandon you. But because they left, they had to thrive, go take everything that they had and leave and go thrive on their planet. And that's what they did. Did they survive? Did they make it? Did something happen? We don't know. Have they been in contact with us? Have they been in communication with the government? Does the government know about all this? Are they not telling us the whole full truth about what they know and understand, and all this stuff leading up through to now what we're having at these congressional hearings about life being on other planets and us not being alone in the universe? What's wrong, bud? So you have these gods that are telling their creations, look, we will not abandon you. We will be back. We will come back to help you, but we have to leave now. We cannot stay with you. They left tidbits of information and knowledge and these abilities to be able to advance human civilization on a course that was better for them, and use it. Do not defile this. But somewhere along the line, we started changing. We started making war with each other. We started killing each other. We started turning against each other and using this knowledge, this gift that was given to us by these creators for the betterment of war, this war machine, this control, this manipulation of what we are by these creatures, these beings, these being led astray by whatever is controlling this faction throughout the world, throughout history. The manipulation of people who are just here, that are on this planet, that are meant for something better than what we have always been told. There's something greater about who we are. And we have been shut down. We have been lied to. You see great men, great women, great inventors, great thinkers, great philosophers, artists that come around every so often. And I think at our time that these people who were the Renaissance masters were part of things. Van Gogh, Edgar Allan Poe, Albert Einstein, Nikola Tesla, countless other Russian inventors, philosophers, European philosophers, and men of renowned knowledge and ideas and understanding, Africa and Asia. Maybe that is why we see these indigenous cultures as outside factions of the spectrum. Why there was always a need to dominate our Native American tribes, to be subserviency when Europeans came here and they thought they were dominant. You have these different cultures around the world that split up because they saw that they were being unified, and these sky gods struck them down. Let's change their language. Let's make them divide up against on themselves. Everything in the Old Testament stories of the Bible, you can account this and change everything out of it, from things like God or angels or these beings that destroyed or came down and did things, or we're telling these people, or we're talking and discussing and telling them, and they say, oh, who am I? I am. Everything that we know and we have learned, take it out and switch it, and switch the word God with these beings, these Anunnaki creators. And it makes sense. It makes sense, just to me. That's what I'm saying. You take with it what you will. Now, it is hard for people to think, okay, well, we were created by these beings. Why would they just leave us? Why are we not knowing about any of this? But we see things throughout our timeline that we can't explain, that is something outrageous that they have always told us it is not real, it is fake, it is a lie. I've never been to space. I've never seen the Earth. I only see what they tell me that is out there. I've never been or seen any of this other stuff that they are denying. But yet people are witnessing it, experiencing it, and saying, look, this is evidence that was been found. They're saying that this stuff is not real. People are saying that the years of the dinosaurs were not that long ago. The scientific studies show that they've found tissue on bone material, fragmentations. That was live. It should not be alive. It should not be pliable. It should be stone rock hard. But they're finding DNA of these dinosaurs. Then you have these picture drawings all over the world of these human beings with these damn dinosaurs. And that goes into the whole thing of wording, our translation, our ability to look at things and correctly translate them for what they are being told to us. There was a doctor, dragons, the history of dragons, right? I'm getting off on another subject because it leads to everything. Everything, all I'm saying is this, is everything that we have been told. Think about it in this aspect of these creatures, these gods, these beings being these gods. God. Is there an all purpose? Is there an all being? Oh, I believe that, yes. I believe that these beings and these creatures and these people that have come here on this planet, that have been trying to direct humanity for the betterment of us, are a symbol or are a faction or are a piece of what we know as these Anunnaki. These beings who have led us and guided us and told us, we are going to try and help you better yourselves. But we as human beings, because of our stupidity and our greed and our ability to look at something and go, fuck, I can make a buck out of that. Let me manipulate this and let me, screw this up for my benefit, so that way I have other people being shut out and I benefit, or I reap the rewards. I can somehow profit from this because it's greed. Now we all as humanity are in a system where it's all about dominance. Who can be on top first? Who can better the other person? I believe that humanity was meant for something greater than what we have allowed these bastards and these people who are in control of the system of life, that tell us how things are, what they are, why they are, get out, and we don't get to benefit or see it. If we are able to go out into space, why the fuck have we not been shuttling people out of here? Why are there not trips like fucking Total Recall? Take a trip to Mars. Take a trip to the moon. Take a trip to the rings of Saturn. We've had this fucking technology since the 50s. What the hell's been going on? We've advanced fucking cell phones faster than we have cars. We're still driving gas. Please do not give me this BS about, oh, well, progression and, it takes time for this and for that and yada, yada, yada. Baloney, dude. They've had technology. They've had the ability to do it. It is the control. It is the manipulation of these people who are controlled by whatever's going on to keep us as slaves and keep us dumbed down. Domination, profit, gain, and greed. Simple. We were created for the betterment of this planet and for each other. We can do it. Something is going to have to give. Something has got to break. And I think that these beings knew that. Which is why I said in the tablets, Inky talks about helping us, guiding us and protecting us and trying to help us understand and get to where we needed to be. Let us thrive. Let us learn. Let us be a species empowerment, using and harnessing the strength and the knowledge and the abilities that we were given. Somehow it got warped. I look at little things like, how we have all been manipulated into believing certain things that have kept us boxed up mentally to keep us subservient to the system, to the structure, to the operation machine that has been dominating humanity for so long. But yet there are tidbits of information like this stuff that come out every now and then, and there are people who are out there in the field looking and seeing and touching and hearing this information and reading this information and gathering it up and putting it together and sharing it with everybody and saying, look, we might want to take a look at this stuff that is really going on here. Now, I say this to you. If these people have come out and said in front of Congress, Dr. Stephen Greer, that's because he has done so much for the movement of getting this information out to people and getting it out to the public and letting them know what is really going on by helping these whistleblowers that are coming out from the government be able to tell their story and be able to tell their side about all of this stuff. That makes sense. Okay? Now, you have people that are fighting against this to keep this hush-hush, to keep it under wraps, that want to sit here and have said and have been doing it since the 50s and 60s by coining the conspiracy theorists and saying, oh, well, these people are just a bunch of hoax. They take this stuff that they don't understand and they manipulate it to fit what they want. But you can't dispute the evidence that we have been given by the people who have been researching this and studying this, have spent their lifetimes on this. And with the help of podcasters like myself and others who are around the world that are following along with them and researching tidbits of things for ourselves and getting this information as well and putting the pieces together in our own minds, we're trying to get everybody else to jump in and say, look, take a look at this. Realize that something bigger is going on for the future of humanity, because we are starting to see this stuff ramp up where we are seeing these beings or these crafts or these creatures coming back, making themselves known at rapid numbers. This is a lot. And with the advances that we have now of being able to just videotape these to be able to videotape everything that's going on, It's like there's no way that they could just not be seen. I mean, they could do it if they wanted to, but it's like they're putting themselves out there for a reason. And we know that the government has something to do with knowing whatever else is going on outside of the realm of our reality. But as I said, there is a lot of things that are going down a rabbit hole that I am not going to get into now. But as I said, this topic of the Anunnaki and the sky gods, and you see that the sky gods left one place, such as the Middle East, and they started flourishing and going into Egypt, and they were going into certain parts of Asia, and then they ended up leaving and going across the ocean and going and settling in South America, which you have all these these pyramids that are used for this harnessing of energy and power, and these people worshiping this feathered serpent, um, and Quetzalcoatl, and it's like you put two and two together, and it's like, wow, man, it's like this is just a really big thing, and it really opened up my eyes, and I just would like to see if people, would be able to open and be open to this topic and just realize, like, wow, this is big. This is a lot of information here. And one thing that like I said, and I say this to everybody, is just, hey, if you guys would just take the time to like break outside of that barrier of information that we have all been swallowing for our entire lives, it really opens up your mind as to what has been going on. And the reality to me is going on, and what has been going on throughout history, as far as the control and the dominance of using this manipulative resource that is actually keeping people in the dark about the reality of who and what we are and where we come from. Because as I said, if I was to tell you this food that I'm making right here is, the newest, hottest, and latest thing, and it is going to feed you and nourish you and give you everything that you need. We've made some modifications to it and added some ingredients, changed some here and there, and it is the same thing pretty much, but it's going to be better for you. But yet, you find out that this ingredients that they got is just a changed version of this one ingredient that was working and was around for thousands of years, and it was the norm. But now you're taking it, changing it to better it because it's what you're going to tell people is real, and then run with it. But this original was just shoved to the side, and anything else that was outside of this changed, newer version. If anything was outside of this, you're wrong. It's not real. It's not true. It's not the truth. Don't ask questions. Don't try and manipulate it to be something that is not what we told you it is. Because if you do, you're gonna burn in hell. And how many poor bastards have died at the stake, or how many women have burned at the stake? How many people have been murdered in the name of this cause? How many people to their death over this? Thousands and millions of people. Millions of thousands of people. As I said, I'm not here to push it on anybody. I'm just saying come from somebody who was shoved it down our throats for so long. I get it, but at the same time, researching and looking into things, it makes me think differently a lot. History is so abundant of information and resources that will lead us down a path of knowledge if we just follow it. I believe that things have been suppressed from humankind for a long time, and this, being the Anunnaki, the sky gods, is one that is coming out that is not going to be stopped. This is changing everything with the information that has come out. The declassification of a lot of topics is just the tip of the iceberg. And I am so glad that we are living in a time when we are going to be able to see this, and our children, I pray, are going to benefit from changes that are going to happen, as long as these people who are in power do not stop those who are trying to do better for humanity by breaking the chains of control that we are under, mentally, physically. I think that the humanity is going to be a lot better off once we start realizing the truth of what is going on around us. What is real? What is fake? What is BS? And I'm talking about real as what is really who we are and what's going on, what we've been through in humanity. Everything. A lot of situations that have been manipulated, changed, and twisted and shoved down our throats about what was real, what was not. This did happen, this didn't happen. This is fake, this is real. All those are just fairy tales. Those are just stories. If it's not about this one thing, it's wrong. But yet you have it going back thousands of years from a lot of cultures that are saying a lot of things. That we are ancient, we are older, we did not come from this place. This is not the truth. This is. And it made me look at things totally different. And I try and just tell everybody, when I talk to people, is like, look at the information for yourself. Look at the information for yourself. It will really trip you out. Because like I said, it did me. And once I started looking into it, I have not looked back yet. And that's all I want to do here on the podcast. And I just want to share that information with everybody, and just let everybody figure it out for themselves, and just be there for anybody that wants to be able to look into this subject matter or these topics, and not feel like you're alone. So if you're here and you're watching, I appreciate you guys for coming along. Thank you for being here. Secret of the Unknown, episode 35 or 36. I'm sorry, episode 36, where we are talking about the Anunnaki and the return of the sky gods, and we're just kind of getting deep into the discussion. And if you're out there watching, you want to get on. If you're on YouTube, drop me a message on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, drop me a message. If you guys want to come on, let me know. And discussion, let me know. I mean, I'm down to bring anybody on that wants to talk or chat about anything. But as I said, I mean, is this something that has ever crossed anybody's mind? Like, has it ever been an occurrence where you're like, man, there just feels like there's something more to what I've been told. I feel like there's something else that has been going on, and I just can't tell why. I just don't understand why I have this drive to want to find this out. I need to know. It's always been that way. Always. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. All I know is there's a reasoning and a purpose behind it, and I'm trying to find it. And I'm just trying to share the information that I get, that I find with everybody else. And I just want everybody else to just realize the coolness of what is out there. It is great. It is amazing times. And I think that this journey of finding there or putting it out there with everybody of what we're finding or what we're looking at is really amazing. Um, so yeah, if you guys have questions, you have thoughts, you have ideas, um, hit me up. You know what I did? I didn't do the introduction, did I? Well, I guess we're gonna have to do that now. Sorry, it's about an hour and a half into this thing, so here we go. Cool, cool. Welcome back. Welcome back. All right. Well, like I said, I'm going to get on the chat. If you guys are wanting to come on, you guys want to hit me up, please feel free to do so on YouTube and Facebook. If you guys got questions or if you guys want to come on and have a discussion, let me know. I'll wait a little bit. We'll get on here and I'll see who wants to get on and talk or if anybody has questions or anything like that. So right now I'm on Facebook. If you guys want to drop a line or say what's up on there, let me know. Is there what do you guys think? What is everybody's thoughts on this? What is everybody's ideas? Where do you guys stand on this? Do you believe this kind of stuff? Are you traditional? Do you just believe that, what you've always been told? There be some other form of life that's out there that's watching us and just waiting for us to progress, to see and guide us along on a path of existence of who we are and where we come from. Is this whole aspect of religion just distorted and warped to keep us in control? Are we missing the true point, the deeper meaning of what was distorted, of who we are and the authority and the power that we have as human beings? Sometimes we see these great men and women who come out through history, through time, that are able to harness and be better and be able to be thinkers and progress humanity with this knowledge that they can't understand. They're smarter, they're stronger, they're ahead of their time. Are these ancient folklores, these mythologies, are they based in truth? Is there some truth to what is being said about these gods, these creator beings, these watchers who sat over us, guiding us? And it's all throughout history. It's not just in one main timeline. It's throughout history. Different names, different times, different aspects of the world, but it's all leading to the whole thing of these things watching over us, guiding us. Then it just stopped. Then they were gone. I guess somewhere along the line, we had to break away from this thought of these gods, and the dominance became more of a singular faction and broke away from the many. I think there's a lot of things that are deeper. What are your guys' thoughts? Let me know in the comments. What are your guys' thoughts? Just on here talking by myself. I usually do. I'm usually on here just yak, and nobody watches this stuff. But it's cool. As I said, like I get my thoughts out, I get my ideas, I get my information out. And I just want everybody to be able to think about a lot of stuff that goes on, that has happened. You know, when I started this a year ago, I believe the first episode that I did was John Jacob Astor the fourth, and that topic really, I love that because there was a lot of information that came out of that that I was not aware of. And looking into the information that was in that, I was able to research and find out that it led also into the whole timeline of um, and I, like as I said, once you go through one, you're going to end up, it shoots off and it goes into something else, and it leads to something else, and it leads to something else, and it's like you don't, you get to a point where you've been doing this for a while, and you start looking into this stuff that you're not so obsessed with it anymore as much as you were when you first started getting, because when I started getting into this, it was bad. And I started learning that, okay, I don't have to sit here and be amped up and start proving myself to anybody. It's not a proving game. It's not a dominance game. It's a information and awakening game to be able to spread and share this information with everybody and say, hey, look, this is just something that I know. Share it with people. Let them research it. Let them feed on it and look at it for themselves, because it's like it becomes that thing of awakening where you're trying to wake people up to the thoughts and the ideas of, hey, look, there is more to what we have been told that they are not giving to us. They are keeping us in this this dumbed down state of subserviency to an idea, to a way of life that is keeping us in this false sense of freedom, this false sense of the ability to think for ourselves, as long as we are slaves to the system. Go to work every day, wake up, go to church, pray to this one God only, their one God only, and be a good citizen. You read the books and learn, and you're taught what we allow you to tell you, and we tell you what's right. Anything outside of that is wrong. And if you go outside of that thought, and you go outside of that thought process, and you start sharing information, then you're a conspiracy theorist. You're wrong. You're a nut job. They don't burn you at the stake anymore. Yeah, technically, some people have not been burned at the stake, but some people have been taken care of and snuffed out and shut up. They've taken it a little bit too far. We don't gather around anymore and just declare it in the name of a faction and burn people at the stake anymore and publicly murder them. We just make it seem like an accident, and we just get rid of those people. That's what happens. Because a lot of people cool, we got Quinn's Life jumped on. Thank you for showing up. Cool. Dr. Stephen Greer said it best. This information it came at a price. Came at a high price to be able to get a lot of this information out that they have been trying to keep suppressed from humanity. And it seems like they are not going to be able to do that anymore. They can't. There's too much evidence, too much knowledge is coming out. People are waking up to the fact that things are not what we have been told. And that's why I said I started this podcast, because I started looking into a lot of things. People were at work were like, man, I couldn't talk to people at work. I would just discuss it with my best friend Jimmy. I love the man to death. He's a friend of mine, and him and I, he's family, and we talk about a lot of stuff. Sometimes he's like, man, Sam, you're going over the top, bro. Like, you're going way too far, man. And I'm like, no, bro, like, look at it, man. Think about it. And I've cracked him on a lot of things. And he's looked at it and he's like, okay, I see what you're talking about now. I can see that. That is weird. And I'm like, hey, it gets weirder than that, man. But I mean, that's where it comes down to. When you can get people to start seeing what you're talking about and you're explaining to them, you change people. You can change their thought process to be able to look at something and go, wow, that makes sense. It really, really does. Or, wow, that's messed up. They've lied to us for a long time. You know, people look at that movie, The Matrix, and that is one of the things where people have said that movie was not just a movie, it was a documentary. It's showing that people are going to start waking up from this program, this mental program that we have been born into. And I think our time of awakening and ascension spiritually, we are going to end up seeing a really big shift. Not only in just information, knowledge, and technology, but spiritually, our shift is going to be of unification of people around the world who are saying, wait a minute, we're the ones who have control and who have power and who have the ability to do and create and speak into things into existence happen. We are the ones who are in control. We are the universe, and the universe is within us, and it's all around us. We don't have to jump to this outside source. The outside source is in us and around us. The creators who made us with the knowledge and the technology and the abilities that were given to them, because they knew that they were not the God. They knew they were not God itself, the creator, the all, the everything. I do believe that there is something or someone somewhere that is manipulating, controlling, and is in charge of all that is happening. What it is, I do not know, but I know in any shape or form, we are all connected. Because we are just bits and pieces of a whole. I know it sounds ridiculous and it sounds like I'm going off into the spiritual tent, but it's not that. It's just the awakening, I guess is what you could say, you could call it, of knowledge and information that people are researching and looking into things that are being suppressed and being dumbed down, that are being distorted by those who wish to keep us in control and in power. It's domination, baby. Domination. Those who control history control the future. And those who make the rules stay in power. They keep it. Simple. So I hope that everybody, if you're here and you're watching and you want to say anything or you want to get on and you want to say what's up, that's life. Thank you again for being here and for joining. Ah, man. Oh, my leg fell asleep. This journey that I've been on has really taken me mentally to somewhere I never thought that I would have, thought of. I never would have seen myself doing this or looking into this information or sharing anything like this or, even talking about any of this. But something inside of me had to want to discuss a lot of the topics that I discuss about, because it's like something has just been nagging. It's like within me that just says, this is, you got to keep looking. There's something going on here. And I've experienced and seen a lot of things in my life that it makes me question a lot of things. And I know there are other people that are out there that question things too, that are like, wow, what is this all about? This defies everything that I've known, I've ever grown up on, or I've ever been told. And all I ask is that you just look into it. Look into it. Sometimes these people that tell us things that are not what they are just spewing the crap out just to keep us dumbed down. A lot of things are baloney, yeah. But I believe that the things that make us who we are and where we come from, why we're here, what this world was, why it was created, who's in control, why they're in control, what's happening. There are a lot of things that we do not get to see because all we know is what we've been told and what we have been shown. I don't know what space looks like. I don't know what the moon looks like. I don't know if we're ever going to be able to travel to anywhere else. I don't know, because I'm not working in that. I am here in Nevada with my family, enjoying my life and doing the things that I do. And I may not ever be able to travel to space and see what the Earth looks like if we're able to do something like that. I don't know that there aren't any dinosaurs around anymore. I don't know that there aren't any creatures, that Bigfoot's not real. I've seen some crazy things in the sky that make me think differently about us being alone. I've experienced things that are paranormal that defy anything that I have been taught. But as I said, I think that we need to take the blinders off of our mind. And baby, can I see that book that's in the room? And realize that the manipulation of things that we have been told that are righteous are just symbolisms for things that have been told to us from thousands of years before. But you take the multi-god faction and you turn it into monotheism, and it becomes a control thing, and it becomes a thing of just domination over humankind and being in control. We know that the hidden knowledge of history, the hidden knowledge of time, the distortion of making something to be able to hide who and what our history is, has been going on for a long, long time. I've talked on the episode about people who have been researching and doing things and archaeological finds that they found, these creatures, these beings that defy any reasoning, that are just taken and destroyed. Why would you destroy something that would change and prove something that has happened throughout history with anybody? Were we the only ones here? Are there other beings or other creatures that are here on Earth with us? Are we separated from them? Is there other lands outside of Antarctica that we do not see? I don't know. But people have seen it. They have witnessed it. It has been told and written down by these people. Multiple people. So what is really going on? What are your guys' thoughts? What do you guys think? Let me know. There's got to be other things that are going on. I just want to say a big quick shout out to Harry P. Joseph, who is the author of the Book of Wisdom. I ordered it. I've been following him for a while, and I have been looking through his book, and I think it is something that is very knowledgeable. This man has done his research. He's done his due diligence into making what I believe is one of the, if not a guidebook to the breakdown of everything that we have been distorted to believe throughout our lives, the symbology and meanings and the coding of breaking down what our ancient ancestors have been telling us about our spiritual and our abilities to heal and to consciously ascend our spirit into what we were meant to be within our realms of power. I mean, do you guys feel like this? Have you ever been driven to think about what things? I mean, what is your thoughts on anything that you would say is outside of the realm of what we have been taught? I know, like I said, for myself, I've given examples, this just being one of them. You know, I never would have thought sitting in Sunday school church, you know, with my mom and dad as pastors, sitting here talking about the existence of these creatures that were actually based off of, that Genesis and the Bible were actually based off of thousands and thousands of years ago. That the earth is not as old as what we have been told, and that there have been, you know, there are creatures, there are beings that are out there walking around that we don't know about that are true. There is other life out there. There is other life here on this planet, maybe within the planet, in the inner earth. I don't know, but it is a thought. It is a subject matter that has been open to debate. Why? Because I've never been there. I've never seen it. We've never drilled into the center of the earth to actually say, yes, there is a core. There is no inner earth. Why? Because we cannot prove it. We cannot prove its existence, and we cannot say that it does not exist. But yet people have seen it. People have experienced it. People have witnessed it. I mean, for Christ's sake, what is the one way to hide something? In plain sight. You watch Godzilla versus King Kong. And what are they doing? They're trying to get into the inner earth to draw King Kong out to go fight Godzilla. And you have whistleblowers who talk about this exact same thing. Of a lot of the technology that they are building and a lot of the things that's happening in movies, that they're putting it out there and showing people that has actually been real. It's been happening. They've said this. A lot of the things that we see in movies, TV shows, and anything that is thrown out there in front of us is real stuff. They do that so that way we are numb to the fact of when it comes out, we're not shocked. Oh, yeah, that's old, man. I seen that on that show. Remember that? Oh, we're joking about it. Look at that laser gun. That's cool. Oh, man, look at that. They're able to heal people with all this machinery. And that's like that stuff you see on that movie Aliens, that incubator table, right? Donald Trump came with that out at the end of his presidency. They were talking about that table that would be able to find and cure and detect any ailments, any problems in your body, and it would help fix it. Whistleblowers have been saying this stuff has been out for a long time. It's just been hidden. Why? Because if they would it's like they said, if you can find a cure for something, you ain't going to make no money off of it. It's better for you to keep people subservient and be rich and collect from them than to give them the information and the technology and the knowledge that is going to benefit them and make them free. This is just the tip of the iceberg, folks. That's what I think, and that's how I feel about it. As I said, it's one of those things where you got to research it and look into it for yourself. And as I said, this book of wisdom, I love it. The Epic Book of Humanity by Billy Carson, the Emerald Tablets Compendium by Billy Carson. I've got the Sadhguru, Karma, Inner Engineering, Death is an Inside Story, Inner Engineering, Yogi's Guide to Joy, They Came Before Columbus, The Hidden Teachings of Jesus. I love that one. What is this one? The Illusion of Us. Great. The Illusion of Us. The Suppression and Evolution of Human Consciousness. This one is by Matthew LaCroix. He is the other author that helped out Billy Carson in the Epic of Humanity. Great researcher. I love it. I just want to read this passage that Harry B. Joseph wrote on his Book of Wisdom. It says, "Dear reader, within the sacred pages of this Book of Wisdom lies a trove not solely comprising surface bound truths, but an expanse of hidden, profound revelations from the enigmatic realms beyond. This compendium of discerning wisdom doesn't merely offer easily assimilated insights. It serves as a guide, illuminating the intricate threads weaving between your essence and the cosmic expanse. It provides an abundance of occult information to facilitate the evolution of your mind, body, and your soul. Genuine awakening often burgeons from the profundity of knowledge, deep transformative comprehension that transcends the ordinary. Should you find yourself amid a spiritual revelation or an ember king of the quest for enlightenment, the queries that stir within are met with the solace here. Envision an awakening, an ethereal resonance of understanding that goes beyond the confines of the mundane. Open the Book of Wisdom and traverse thoughts through the corridors of enlightenment, where revelations await, beckoning to elevate your consciousness." I love it. It's great stuff. And as I said, a lot of stuff is coming out now where I believe that people are going to wake up. I really hope that people realize that we should not be bound by what we have been told, that we ourselves, humanity, as human beings, are the ones who are in essence together with our Creator. It is in us. It is around us. We are them. They are us. For so long, they had given us the tools to be able to understand and be able to harness this power and this energy and this wisdom and this knowledge for the betterment of humanity. It's, like I said, somewhere along the line after the Anunnaki left and promised to come back, as it says in the ancient Sumerian texts. Like I said, I'm not saying that this is fact. I'm giving you the information based on the facts that are there. You can run with it. I'm not telling you to believe it or not. All I'm saying is research what is really out there. But as I stated, this, if in fact is true, and it is the reality of what we are facing, what is the truth about what and who we are and why we're here and where we come from, and the abilities and the power that we have within ourselves as human beings is really true and is the essence of what makes us us, then that means that life is just a journey from beginning to end. And it's just one part of who we are, the essence of who we are, that when we shed this skin and we die, we don't die. And here we don't die. This body dies. It withers away, it decays, it gets sick, it gets old, it deteriorates. And the very essence of the universe that we are, returns to what we are. I believe that. And as I said, it's not just me speaking, it's me speaking on things that are being told throughout cultures and throughout history, in ancient scrolls, ancient tablets, ancient papyrus, the knowledge that was passed down that is there for us to see if we would just take the blinders off to see it, is there. And I believe that those beings, those watchers, those things that are here watching over humanity to help guide us, are still here. And so it's kind of like that movie They Live. Perfect example with Roddy Piper. Came out in the 80s. You got the glasses on, you could see him. That when you walk around this life, everything we know, the BS that we used to realize that was just, normal stuff, we see it for what it is now. We see the manipulation in the system. We see the manipulation in our work. We see the manipulation in our lifestyles. We see the manipulation in our governments. We see the manipulation of the control of the state, of democracy. That we are all just slaves to this program. And those of us who see things for what they are trying to help other people see it as well. And I'm not saying, I'm going to unplug this thing and pull it out of my head, and I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be in another world. This isn't the actual Matrix. The Matrix was just trying to show people the mentality that we're in. That this reality that we live in it's all made up for us. Could you imagine what it would be like if somebody said, okay, this is bullshit, we do have free energy? Nikola Tesla tried to do it for years. They killed him, let him die, stole everything that he worked on, manipulated that poor man, stole his patents, hid his knowledge and his information from everybody. He's just one of many who has tried to show us and help us to free our minds. Why do we have to profit for something that we can get from the earth? It provides everything that we need. But yet we go to the store and we pay for bananas, water, very food that we used to grow in, people used to grow in their backyards. But somewhere along the line, somebody said, oh, you have to go to the store. We stopped just doing it ourselves, became lazy, and started going to the stores, relying on it. We got so far from where we were, who we are, and relying on the system. The program took over. It worked. And a lot of us are breaking that chain of that mentality. We're trying to take those chains off of our spiritual binds, I guess, is what you could say. And we're trying to help a lot of other people do the same thing. So, if you are here and you're watching this, that means that you have an interest, that it is peaking inside of you and you are trying to find out, wow, let me see what this is all about. Because once you start getting that interest and you start looking into it, it is going to, your blinders are going to come off. For a lot of you, it's already off. So I'm going to open it. If nobody has any questions or any topics or anything that they want to talk about or go over, if you have any thoughts or ideas about what I've been talking about tonight, the Anunnaki and the return of the sky gods, what are your guys' thoughts? What do you think? How do you feel about this? I mean, how do you feel about the whole aspect of what life is. What could it be to you? What do you how do you understand it to be? So, like I said, there are just things in this world that we can't understand and that we are just given the smaller aspect of it. And we don't get to see a lot of it. Because it's being hidden from all of us. So I would just like to say thank you to everybody. If there's nobody that has anything that they want to talk about or discuss or get on here and chat about, let me know. And I just want to say thank you to everybody that came along, that has been following along on this journey since last year. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the channel. We got our hats and we got our sweaters and we got our shirts. If you guys would like one, reach out to me on Facebook, reach out to me here on YouTube. Let me know what you would like to get and I can get it set up for you, and we'll take care of that whole thing and get you squared away. But thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you all so much. And thank you for commenting and sharing your thoughts and your ideas with me on Facebook and on YouTube on the pages, and just giving me your guys' insight and your ideas. So with that, I'm going to sign off. This was a great episode. I enjoyed talking about a lot of this stuff, and I hope you enjoyed it too, and I hope you like it. And join me again next week. Hopefully we'll be here. And we'll make it another go around, and we'll get some more interesting stuff going out. But as I said, thank you guys all for being here. You guys are great. You're fantastic. For the people that have been following me since the beginning, thank you guys for the support. You know who you are. And I'll talk to you guys later. You guys have a good weekend. Be safe.